One of the main draws to southern Alabama is the allure of the beaches. We've discovered this in short in some of the other videos on this channel, but I want to take some time this week and give you a more in-depth description of what Mobile's relationship to the beaches really looks like. By the end of this video, you'll have all of the locals' insight of the beaches of southern Alabama. This is Moving to Mobile, and I'm your host, David Beasley. Hello again, my name is David, and I am your local realtor. I help people move to Mobile in Baldwin County every single day, and one of the main questions I get asked is about the beaches. If you want to connect further with me, please leave a comment below, or better yet, reach out to me directly. In the first part of this video, let's compare Alabama's beaches to other nearby states. If you're certain that you want to move to a beach, this will hopefully help you gauge which state will be the best fit for you. We're going to focus on 3 states, and they are Florida, Mississippi, and Alabama. I've been to beaches in all 3 of these states, and they all have their own styles and traits. Speaking in really broad strokes, I would say Florida beaches are more developed and kind of touristy. If you want to have both a beach destination and a lot of activities, Florida might be a really good fit for you. Places like Panama City, Destin, Pensacola, and 30A all have their own distinctive traits, but the common thread, they're all very touristy places. On the opposite end of this is the beaches that you'll find in Mississippi. If you go to Biloxi, even during the summertime, you can find beaches that are totally empty. This is a pretty good spot for fishing, but a lot of people tend to head more eastward if you're gonna swim. This is because the water isn't generally as clear as the water you'll find in Alabama and Florida. A big draw to Biloxi is the casinos, which often garner very large crowds. Now for you, this might be a plus or minus. It just depends on what you like. Last among these 3 states are my favorite, the Alabama beaches. The powdery white sands rival anywhere you'll find on the Gulf Coast. Its water clarity is very similar to pretty much everywhere you'll find in Florida as well. Now, I do want to note for you that water clarity can vary depending on recent storms, the weather, and other factors. Due to this, I would recommend visiting different beaches at different times to really get a gauge on which you prefer most. Now, Alabama beaches are a lot more touristy than Mississippi, but it's not anywhere near what you'll find in most of the Florida beaches. This is why Gulf Shores' motto is small town, big beach. Beaches are kind of a hot topic around here, so I'm sure I've already made someone mad in the comments below, but I'm just calling it like I see it. I personally like the Alabama beaches best, but if I'm looking for some more activities, I do like to visit PCB or Pensacola from time to time. In the next part of this video, we're going to go into detail about the beaches that are in Alabama. When you look at a map, you might notice that Mobile actually touches the Gulf of America. This little sliver of water right here is called Mobile Bay. If you don't live in the area, you might see this little sliver of water and think, sweet, Mobile has a beach, but most people don't swim in Mobile Bay. Now, there are a couple of reasons for this. Mobile Bay has a lot of river inflow from the Mobile-Tensaw Delta, bringing in sediment and making the water brown and kind of murky. It's not necessarily dirty, but it doesn't have that clear and inviting look that you'll find in Gulf Shores and Pensacola. Another reason that people don't swim in Mobile Bay is the marine life. There are jellyfish, stingray, and even alligators in some areas. Swimming here just isn't the best use for this body of water, and with so many other great options nearby, most locals just opt into driving the extra 20 minutes. That being said, Mobile Bay is great for boating and fishing and kayaking, but today we're talking about beaches. So if you can't swim in Mobile Bay, where do the locals go? The 3 main options are Gulf Shores, Orange Beach, and Dauphin Island. Now, since this channel is called Moving to Mobile, I'm gonna explain all 3 of these in reference to Mobile. Before we move on, I want to take a minute and remind you to like this video so you can reference it in the liked videos playlist that YouTube will automatically make for you. I really appreciate the support. Let's get back to it. Okay, so Dauphin Island is the main beach in Mobile County. If you were to drive from downtown Mobile, it would take you about 45 minutes. Some areas like Theodore are actually closer than that. Other areas like Saraland and Pritchard are a good amount further. Downtown is a good average for us. Now, Dauphin Island gets plenty of traffic and tourism, especially during the summer, but it's nothing compared to Gulf Shores. You'll see a ton of single family houses and beach houses in this area, most of which are owned and operated by investors. Dauphin Island does incredible on websites like Airbnb and Vrbo. That being said, the water isn't quite as clear here as most of the beaches you'll find east of Mobile County, and the sand isn't quite as powdery. One of the bonuses of Dauphin Island is that it has a fishing pier and a ton of marine life. This beach is a really good blend of nature and relaxation. Its closeness to Mobile makes it a super popular spot for the locals. Now, Gulf Shores is by far its biggest competition. Gulf Shores is in Baldwin County. Its standout attractions are the Gulf State Park, Waterville, USA, and the Hangout. To be totally transparent with you, this is my go-to beach of choice. There is a great blend of liveliness and family-friendly activities. Even though it is a small town, it is definitely not dead. This is by far the most popular beach in Alabama, and it's for good reason. It has incredibly clear water and the smoothest sand of any beach I've ever been to. That being said, I haven't been to every beach, so don't attack me if you disagree. A huge difference between Gulf Shores and Dauphin Island is the huge condo and hotel buildings that you find all along the beaches in Gulf Shores. These make the beaches feel very populated and busy. This isn't a bad thing, but it changes up the feel quite a bit. Orange Beach is right next to Gulf Shores, and it has essentially the same feel. It has a lot of really cool standard attractions, such as the Wharf, which is a massive entertainment district featuring shopping, dining, concerts, and family-friendly attractions. This place is massive, and its outdoor shopping experience make it so fun, even if you're not looking to buy anything. They also host a ton of events and concerts at the Wharf, so keep an eye out, even if you don't live in Orange Beach, so you don't miss anything fun. Now, if I were to pick between Orange Beach and Gulf Shores, I can't really say I have too much of a preference here. Sometimes I'll just check the weather and see which one is a little warmer or cooler, depending on where I want to go. If you're a local and you do have a preference between these two beaches, please let our guests know in the comments below. So how does Mobile relate to all these beaches? Well, to start, it's obviously much closer to Dauphin Island. Some people, like myself, don't mind driving the extra 30 minutes or so, but it's totally valid if you do. To be honest, after I get done at the beach, I am exhausted. Sitting out in the sun all day can be draining, and getting home as quick as I can is key. This extra 30 minutes can really drag on when you're tired behind a wheel. The distance also gives you less time at the beach. If you're spending that extra hour driving, that's one more hour that you could have spent relaxing on the beach. Now again, I'm a quality over quantity guy. I prefer getting a slightly less amount of time at a beach that I prefer a good amount more. Hopefully knowing these differences in the beaches will help you make the decision on which to try out first easier. Now, if you end up making the trip from Mobile to any of the beaches out east, you'll see a giant gas station on your right called Buc-ee's. Do me a favor, stop there. It is an incredible experience. People down here love Buc-ee's, and if you haven't been to one before, you'll love it too. The last thing that I want to address in this video about Mobile and its relationship to the beaches is a question that I got from one of you actually. That question was, why would anyone move to Mobile when you could move to a beach? This is a valid question, but there are a couple of really good answers depending on the person. For some people, it makes total sense to move right to Gulf Shores, but some people can't afford that. In the comments below, I'll leave a link to my website where you can compare the different prices of houses that are currently on the market. And what you'll see is that there's a huge difference in living on the beach or even living in a town near the beach compared to the cost of living in Mobile. The second reason is Mobile's size. Mobile is the biggest city in this area, and a lot of big events happen here. People who move across the bay to Baldwin County are always taking trips back here for shows, weddings, family gatherings, and more. Since this is where most people live in this area, this is where a lot of things happen. It's also where most of the jobs are. If you can find a job on the beach, you work remote, or maybe you're retired, it totally makes sense if you can afford it to move to the beach. But if you get a job in Mobile, the most convenient place for you to live is going to be Mobile. The last reason you might not want to buy a house on the beach is if you don't want to live in a touristy area. While some of the beach towns are less touristy, none of them are totally rid of tourists. Moving to the beach isn't for everyone. Heck, it's not for me, at least not right now. That being said, it might be for you, and if it is, I'd love to help you make that happen. In the coming months, I'm going to be making more videos on each of the different beach towns in Alabama, and I'll give you more detail on what all of them have to offer. If this interests you, make sure to subscribe and keep an eye out for those videos. Now, if you're thinking about moving specifically to Mobile, I made a video that I really think you should check out. I see people making all sorts of mistakes when they move to Mobile, so I made a video for you to make sure you don't make the same errors. And I'm going to leave it right here for you to check out. I'll see you there, or I'll see you next time.